Um, First and foremost, give a shout out to Dr. D. She is volunteered herself to take, all types of notes. And from experience, Dr. D pretty much captures everything and anything that I say, or if Sal jumps in and says anything. Um, she pretty much captures that and then compiles it together in a very nice list for anybody who's missed the time or missed the video to uh, read it later as well as go along with the video. Food, yes, I am human, so I have to eat. So yeah, I have food on the way. If you're asking what type of food, it's just brown stew chicken and rice and peas. All right, so um, can't forget the plantain.
Man, you know what sucks though?
What?
You know what sucks? All
What?
these people that had missed the entries or they had bad entries or got questions and all that shit during the
Oh shit!
market. But
Y'all
look,
about to
they
get in
fucking
trouble.
absent. They fucking absent right now. That's the bullshit I be talking
Y'all,
about, dog.
y'all about to get in
Motherfuckers
trouble.
be talking that shit, but motherfuckers ain't really about putting the work in.
Eee, y'all in trouble. um, Jamaican is my favorite. It's a top five cuisine for me. I'm gonna just say that. It's not my top three, but definitely top. Those who are, let me just clear something up. Those who are currently on this call, he's not talking to you. He's not. All right. He's not talking to you. So please, don't y'all don't have to come into the chat and be like, oh, I just joined and nah, he's not talking to you. Um, just to touch on it, right? We just obviously we're here to help. We want to help you, right? And we obviously want you to succeed. I can't tell you how invested we are in your success. And no, that's not a line I'm trying to feed you, right? It's not about the money, about you, not about trying to like keep you here to pay us or whatever. It's really we're truly invested in your success. And one of the reasons, because I'm gonna keep it 100, we could all, every single admin, every single moderator, we could all legitimately be in any other Discord we wanted to, and we'd be just fine, right? We'd all be, on some level successful with our plays, keeping our mouth shut, not saying shit. The whole point of Zamunda and why it was started, one of the reasons that it was started is about building that wealth, helping people turn their lives around, building wealth, which hopefully my hope is, me personally, my hope is that that leads to generational wealth, right? That hopefully that as you're making this money, you're able to put some aside to help the next generation build, right? In my opinion, that's how a lot of these other cultures do it, and they seem to be very successful at it. So, we don't really see that too much, especially in our community. If you don't know, I'm Black. We don't really see that too much in our community, right? So that's one of the reasons why it started. And not that we're getting complaints about, bad trades or whatever, but also at the same time, like people do come to us and say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And we're trying to figure out better ways to help you, right? However, we can only help you so much. You get what I'm
Man, you know
saying?
what's crazy though? You know what's crazy though, bro? Like just it's dope at the same time, bro. We got over 7 people that's locked up behind bars in this Discord, dog,
Right,
and with limited resources, and they fucking banking. But you got people that's in, some of the people, and it's not all people. I'm just saying, but with every excuse in the book, why they can't study or why they can't get this. You know what I'm
right,
saying? That's what's crazy, dog. Like
right,
is I'm not gonna sing him out, but it's one dude, bro. He taught the other member how to do credit spreads, and this man up over 20 grand now. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, he got to sneak and get on that phone. You heard me?
right. Because there's trouble that comes with that, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, again, this is not a beat down session. It's just again, we're passionate. I think that's the better word to say, right? We're passionate about you genuinely doing better. And that we hope that's the reason why you joined us, right? Obviously, the byproduct is the money, but to genuinely get better at this trading thing, which will open doors for you down the line. Um, like some of the stories that I've read, like there's a trader, he stays quiet, but I know he's watching every single day. He took basically a year of his profits and flipped that into buying a business that was already established and exists. So now he has recurring passive income coming
Yeah,
on
Mosky.
a monthly
That's
basis,
Mosky.
you know? So,
Um,
and that's
I
what we
talked to
do in
him
this,
yesterday too. Tensho.
right?
Um, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you a picture of what he sent me, dog. He doing well with it, bro. He
Yeah,
changed
send
around
it
a
to
lot of
me.
stuff already.
No, and that's one. I mean, we're not looking for that story every single time, but that again, that what he's doing is going to lead to that generational wealth. You feel me? So I'm gonna get into the charts, but I just had to say that. Believe me when I say we definitely have a lot of powwows or team meetings, I guess, about what are different ways that we can bring, I guess, y'all to the water. You know what I'm saying? Like we doing classes, we recording them, we putting them out there, we putting in entries, full analysis. I guess with the exception of live trading, I mean no, Fever, I'm sorry, she does the futures, the live future trade. So like, we just asking, meet us halfway. And again, if you're on the call, I'm not talking to you. If you're listening to this call later, I'm talking to you. Just meet us halfway. We get life, I get it, I get it because right after I'm done with this, I got to jump right back into work, take care of the overnight team. So I get it, but we want to see you put that effort in, not because we want the effort, but you should want the effort for yourself because you should be tired of where you are right now. All right. So as I stated, this is not really a teaching session per se. You may learn some things, as we do. It is meant to be interactive, so please don't hesitate to ask questions. Of course, I do
Hey,
have a
look,
little.
Tensho.
Huh?
When you give them the trade, tell them the interest. I mean, and why you in them, things like that, so they could get learn about the interest on it.
Right. So yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna do it for every single ticker, but I've purposely removed my drawings from some of the tickers on my list, right? So I highlighted the ones I'm actually gonna do it for: Oracle, Palantir, Tesla, and Walmart. And again, I don't want to kill time. That's why I'm not doing it for every single one. Where I'll give you kind of like a breakdown of what it is that I do look for entries. And the entries are honestly going to be from a strat perspective. I may throw in some of the things that I've learned from ICT, but please take that with a grain of salt because I am definitely still learning it myself. So, and I'm not quite comfortable like teaching it and saying like, oh, like this is what it is for sure. I've just been watching the videos enough that my eyes are starting to see certain things and starting to connect certain dots. And so far, it has worked out. Shit, teach me credit spreads too. All right, yeah, biker. And to any admins that's currently on the call, this is not hog the mic. So please, 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 if you have anything to add to anything you've seen, anything I'm saying, please don't hesitate at all to take yourself off mute. You all should have the ability to. All right, let's go ahead and get it. So first thing that I'm going to go ahead and start with is Palantir. All right, so with Palantir, now the way I can do it may be entirely different from the way any other admin does it, but I always start off. Oh no, that's the 6 months. My apologies. I definitely don't start off on the 6 month. Actually, in the interest of time, we're going to start off on the monthly, right? So I always start off on, but I usually start off on the quarter, and then I work my way in, right? So I just take a look at what's going on with the month. So far in the month, what we have is a Holy Grail setup currently. Obviously, this month is not closed just yet, but we do currently have a Holy Grail setup. Essentially, what you're seeing is on the three candle. After we, broke above this previous high, we're exhausting a little bit and probably a little bit of profit taking correctional activity before we make the next leg up. Another thing that I do want to point out is that so far, let me turn this off, right? Looks like we are consolidating so far, right, on the monthly. Now, obviously, this is not going to help from a lotto standpoint, but it is still good to take note of certain things like this. So just in case, if you leave this chart and come back to it, you'll understand, what's going on. You can understand what price is doing. And then even if the play is not there immediately and you see that it's still setting up, it's good that you can still come back to it and decide, whatever it is that you want to do. Now, just from the monthly perspective, if we do go 3-1-2 to the downside, you always want to pay attention to where price could potentially bounce. And a couple of areas where that can happen is at the top of this fair value gap, right where the lows are. The price may come down, sweep these lows over here, rejecting off the fair value gap before taking the next leg up. Or if it just straight dumps, right? It could dump all the way down here. That's again just looking at it based on the monthly for right now. Moving into the weekly, actually, sorry, Sal did say give targets, right? So I always mark out my monthly entries just so you know your range that you're playing with as well too. As well as, yeah, you want to know if price takes the month up. That's a pretty strong thing to do. And then when it does do that, you're probably going to see some sort of a pullback after it takes the month up because again, every high is you have to think of it as a little bit of resistance, right? Bikers really good at reminding people of that, right? When it's taking out those highs, then that's resistance being eaten through, and you may end up with a price action pulling back, kind of like where this high was taken out, right? Price pushed up, and then look at what price did right after it took out this high. All right, so moving into the week, um, so what do we see on the weekly? Right now on the week, we're currently inside candle. So far from what I'm seeing, we're consolidating on the month. We're currently inside. We got a holy grail. We can either go 3-1-2 up or 3-1-2 down for the next month. We're talking about January. But on then when you zoom in on the weekly, you see that after taking out the highs, we have our correctional activity. We're currently inside, and last week we bounced off the top of a bullish order block on, again, that's an ICT term, but we bounced off the top of a bullish order block. And so far, we have not come into that range just yet. It's still untested. So that's something to pay attention to. If we close the week without crossing back in, and we've still technically made a higher low compared to last week, that kind of gives me a feeling, not a bias, but a feeling of, we may catch that reversal, right? Also can't ignore the bearish order block right at the top as well too, which would probably explain why we're currently inside. Haven't made our move just yet. We're consolidating. Pause for 1 second. Let me just go grab my food. I'm not going to eat, but let me go grab my food. Hold on just 1 second. All right, I'm back. I can't hear for. If you just joined, I literally just walked away. Okay, yeah, yeah. I just literally just walked away, yo. Extra oxtail gravy. Nah, I'm not have the oxtail gravy, so I'm gonna have to ask for the brown stew chicken, the brown stew gravy. Hopefully they listen to me though, because I always tell them like drown the rice with the brown stew. All right, so back to okay. All right, so back to the weekly, right? So, I mean, you also pay attention to patterns that have been happening as well too, right? Obviously, we found a really nice ass level of support on the weekly over here, right? At 1356. This is I always take note of levels like that, right? Just in case price will bounce off of that level. Obviously, this is a pretty serious level of support, having being tested once, twice, three times. So since after the third time, it's been making lower high, excuse me, shit. Since bouncing off, it's been making higher lows. So that's something to pay attention to as well too. If price were to, let's say, come back through this bullish order block, where's the next level that you think you may see a bounce? And 1356 would be that. But again, it's been making lower highs, and one of the other things that I do is the fibs. I want to see if price is at equilibrium, is it at a discount, is it at premium? And so far, right, since we've had that pullback, price touched down at the 0.62 level, so it's currently at a discount, right? So anytime price gets in between, I would say 0.62, 0.705, or 0.79, I'm always looking to see if there's potentially an area of a bounce. It did, obviously, over the past 2 weeks. It dipped below the 0.62 level, fib level. And now it looks like we are consolidating before our next move up. Again, not completely biased, but I would think for a 212 to the upside. Last thing I do before I move on to the next time frame is again mark out my entries. Now on the weekly, I'm going to mark out not only my entries, but I'm also going to mark out my targets as well too. Because if I'm gonna jump into this trade, I may end up swinging it. So I want to know what's going on the weekly basis if I choose an expiration date based on that. So I got my weekly entry, call entry is 1990 for the week, right? My weekly put entry is 1705. It doesn't mean I'm going to use this entry. I may or I may not, but it's still good to know. Like if I enter on the daily and then I know that we cross over 1990, I know, even though I'm looking at the daily time frame, I know that we have now taken the week up as well too, which tells me that we are 2-2 reversal as opposed to still inside week. Hopefully that makes sense. Next, I'm going to go ahead and mark out my targets both ways, right? That's really important because you want to have a game plan for both sides of it. So if actually, I'm not going to mark to the downside because literally the next, after the weekly entry, your next target to the downside is the monthly entry, right? So the weekly entry, 1705, the next low um, after that, going backwards, is going to be the monthly put entry at 1448. One second, let me see what's in the chat. Now I'm hungry. So sorry, Ali. My bad. I'm sorry. All right. So yeah, we have the weekly entry at 2031, and then our next high is going to be that monthly entry at 2185, right? So normally I would go through the hybrid timeframes, but again, in the interest of time and because we do have other tickets that we need to look at, I'm not. But I do highly suggest that you look at the very least the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 day, right? You don't necessarily have to look at the 10 or the 20 if you don't want to, but I do suggest that you look at that. Now, as far as the weekly goes, obviously you see I have pretty much every single time frame except for the 5 week.
Hey, you know what? The market might gap up tomorrow.
It could it could gap up
Nvidia,
tomorrow as well too.
Nvidia is over 485. Man, I'm looking
Already,
at RH.
mother.
RH went up over $30 today.
God,
Um,
I was hoping it. I was
it's a
like,
good chance. It's a good chance that this shit gap up.
yeah,
Well, it'd be hard to get in interest.
yeah. All right, coming back to the daily, let's finish this up real quick, right? So with the daily, what I'm looking at on the daily, right, is that we have, again, we found the support that we found on the weekly, right? Came back, tried to take the week down over here. That obviously failed. Then we end up with an outside hammer on Palantir, right? So again, we're going to go ahead and mark out our entries. Our daily entry is 1790 to the upside, and then our put entry is 1722. Again, I'm not really going to mark out the next low because it's already marked out by the weekly put entry. And then, obviously anything lower than that, we're talking about again back down to the monthly. I will, however, again, because you want to have a game plan for both sides now, right? I will, however, mark out this area because that is a gap fill that has not been completely filled, right? So even though you may have bias, you still want to have a plan, all right? Your next target to the upside is going to be up here. That's your daily magnitude. Forgot some of y'all may not know strat. So DMAG is daily magnitude. Um, and then if we break that, our next daily target is going to be 1855 to the upside, right? Now, I like it to the upside, one, because again, since we found this support down here at the weekly entry, we have, even on the daily, we've been making higher lows, right? We exhausted from the downside as well, too. The buyers definitely stepped in and went outside, right? So you may, because they went outside, you may have a little bit of a pullback heading into the more. But honestly, I would not be surprised if we take a 3-2 to the upside and keep it pushing. Now, Palantir only moves 87 cents, so it's a little bit of a slow mover comparative to the Ferrari tickers. However, when it chooses a direction, it's pretty much you can definitely swing this. And part of the reason why I like looking for lottos on Wednesdays because if you jump in on Thursday and let's say you get a little 20-30%, Lotto Friday continues that trend, and then before you know it, it turns into a really good ass lotto, right? I definitely like Palantir to the upside. You also want to be aware of the what takes the year up, right? You see right here, that's why I have this indicator on, because you also want to know what's happening on the larger time frame. So we know if by the end of the week we take out 1884, we've also taken the year back up in force as well too. Let me make sure that's correct. Yep. Hold up. Is it a 1 second? It's already a two up. It just pulled back. Okay. Oh, that's going to be a sexy ass TPO if it pushes all the way back. Obviously, it's not going to be like right now, but still. So for Palantir, honestly, I like the 18 call. I like the 18.5. If you're treating it as a lotto, I honestly even like this for a swing, especially if we can push up and get above this bearish order block. It's already been tested once, so it may not cause too much trouble on the way back up. Then we get to get into this fair value gap over here as well too. And if price can run through that over the next 2 days, before you know it, we're going to be up in the $19 range. Um, I forget. FIFA sent a scan about it. There was some tool she was using that was a really nice scan about it. I can't remember what that was about, but it looks like the rest of the market is pretty in tune with Palantir as well too. So, shit, if we can get in with the flow of the river, if we can get in with the big dogs, the institutional flow, yeah, we can ride that river all the way up to the money. You feel me? So, as far as contracts go for Palantir, for the call side, right? Um, I'm gonna give you for this week, but I'm also gonna give you for next week because it's such a slow mover. I would probably like it. I'll probably give myself a little bit of time, but the 18. Hold up, where is it at right now? 1787. So yeah, the 18 is asking 26. As you can see, very small account friendly. Apparently, we love that, right? The volume's 28,000 over there. Open interest is 25. We really love that. Then the 18.5, that is, I mean, yo, this is definitely, unless you have a really small account, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, unless you have a really tiny account, you should definitely be going at least 5 cons on this shit, right? Especially if you go into 18.5, that's only $60. I would even say 10. Like risk that 120. If I'll put it like this, if you have more than 500 in your port, you should definitely be grabbing at least 10 cons of this. Um, or if you got that Sal money, you might as well grab yourself 1,000, I guess. I'm just playing. But you should definitely be going multiple cons on this. If you're doing the 19, I probably would not do it for the 15th. I probably would look to do it for the 22nd, and it's still cheap. It's still 20. It's $22 a con, right? So that's not too bad. All right, and that's to the call side.
Honestly, bro, it's no reason you shouldn't go at the money on that. Like it's so cheap, it's no reason you should go out of the money.
You talking about just stay with the 18 then?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. There y'all have it. Roddy, I want 490 NQ on the highs. Now we can see before market open. Bothered by it's on my list. Moves to approval. Look at the cons. Gives you 100%. Hey, okay. All right. So then, yeah. I mean, you could wait for it. You could get in as soon as it triggers at 1790. Go for that 18 call. But I'm not gonna say load the boats, but you should definitely be going multiple cons on it. You can again take the 18. Well, yeah, that's actually the 18 is still cheap even for next week. Yeah, hell yeah. So you could take the 18 and if the shit rides up to like 1920, then you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I made so much money. And then you can thank FIFA for it, right? Because she's the one who put me on to it. I'm not gonna.
The people that made the huge gains today, the $1,000, 2,000, or whatever, these small ticket plays are how you grow your account. Go ahead and grab your $250 worth. I don't pay attention to how many times. I pay attention to like dollars and shit like that. Go ahead and get you $250 worth or $600 worth or however much you can risk. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's risk tolerance is very different. You got the money now, you can afford to attack more and attack violently. And what I mean by that, don't buy the shit out the money. Buy the shit close to the money. That motherfucker move 60, 70 cents in your direction, you gonna score and you gonna be one happy motherfucker. Trust me.
Right. So, and like I said, you do want to have a game plan for both ways, right? Although, honestly, I'm seeing bullishness in my opinion. If it does trigger to the downside, if it does trigger to the downside, you can look at that 1722. You can look at the 17 put. Um, I don't expect it to drop all the way down, like to, down to this level and completely fill the gap fill. But yeah, I would definitely say get the 17 put. Again, it's still cheap enough that you can get multiple cons on it, and then go from there. All right. I got the 17.5 for next week. Calls or puts. Uh, Maybe that was calls. I think that's calls. Yeah. So then, yeah, you should be good. If this calls, then yeah, you should definitely be good. It ended at 1787. So yeah, shout out to anybody that definitely bought the dip. Y'all definitely killed it today. All right. All right. So that is Palantir, right? Any questions on Palantir before I keep it moving? Any questions about anything I did chart wise before I keep it moving? Now I am gonna say one thing, right? Um, how can I put it? I do an initial charting, right? Putting in all my entries and everything. And then like once I've narrowed down my list, then I just come back and I just look at the chart. I don't want to say stare at it, but I kind of just look at the chart. I look at what's happened in the past as well too. Look to see if we're at a key level, anything like that, right? So just giving y'all, I guess, some of the keys to what I do. I'm not gonna say it's like the perfect way to do it, it is time consuming, but the way I look at it is kind of like measure twice, cut once kind of thing. All right. Moving along into Upstart. We're going to start with Upstart next.
Honestly, I had signaled that shit today when Upstart went two up. Had you gotten that motherfucker, you'd have got paid probably more than Nvidia paid, or ROI wise. Honestly,
Yeah, honestly, like some of the small tickers, I'm not gonna lie, they like still to this day. Actually, no, AVGO beat. Never mind. CCL is now number two as far as the most money I've made off of a trade this year. But CCL was number one for a very long time, and that was just because I just I kept buying multiple contracts on that shit. Small tickers, I know I've been choosing a lot of the Ferrari tickers, so to speak, lately, but the small tickers are still my bread and butter. All right. Okay. Let's go to open this one up, and then we're gonna go over to the month. All right, how we doing with Upstart? So I think ICT would call this a turtle soup, if I'm not mistaken. So it turtle souped back to the downside and probably hit some sort of a good ass fib level. Oh, why is it not? There we go. Boom. There you go. Yep. Before the bounce, right? Bouncing off the bullish order block as well too, right? Or near the bullish order block. All right. So now we're on our way up. This is the area of liquidity, right? Solid candles all the way to the top. And I would mark out, at least for the monthly, that would technically be, because we've already taken the month up. Sorry, that's work. I don't know if you guys are seeing the Skype pop-ups. That's work. We've already taken the month up, but I'm gonna go ahead and mark out what the monthly entry would be anyway, just in case. Like you still want to leave it there just in case price comes back to retest it. Put entry, boom. There you go. All right. And so you know the next target on the month is 72.58. That's obviously a long ways away. Probably and definitely not going to hit that within the next 2 days. Since we're lotto hunting, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. But we know that we're currently 3-2 up on the month. So bullish time frame on the month. If we go into the week, we are also 2 up on the week, currently a hammer. And this is why we like to look backwards in time for price, because we see that we are currently in a fair value gap on the weekly. Price is eating through that fair value gap so far, right? We've taken out the previous high over here, and now we're pushing up. So again, looking very bullish. Since we've taken out the week, we're going to put out the entry either way, just so we know what, in case price were to come back. And the weekly put entry actually is just a little bit below where the monthly call entry is. So just something to take note of. So, you know, if we take the week down, we're no longer in force on the month. All right. So our next target on the weekly is actually, are you not? Did I not click on it? Oh, I guess I didn't. There you go. Next target on the week is actually going to be 60.50. And again, probably not doing that. So sometimes what I do, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. And don't kill me, biker, if I'm not. Don't kill
You're
me
doing
if
the
I'm
right
not.
thing, bro. You're doing the
Huh?
right. You're doing the right thing. I do
Right.
that.
So when we don't, so what I do is when I have a really large ass fair value gap, um, obviously I know like in the next 2 days, unless we get some hella bullish, and I mean really bullish catalyst on Upstart, we're probably not hitting that 60 in the next couple of days. May not even do it next week, to be honest with you, right? So what I like to do is draw the 50% retrace of the fair value gap to kind of find my next target, right? This is also an area where you may see some profit taking as well too. So, you know, for me, my next target is actually going to be that 47.6. Um, if it, you know, obviously if price keeps pushing to the upside, right? Now, zooming in on the daily, what do we got around that area is we have a bearish order block that has not been tested yet. We also, um, there we go. We also have a gap fill. Let me change that color. We also have a gap fill just shortly right above price, right? From 44 to 46. So stands to reason that we may tomorrow, we may just eat through this gap fill, right? Push a little bit into this bearish order block, hit the 50 retrace, and we might have a pullback. I'm not saying reversal, I'm saying pullback. All right. Because if you look over here, what's happening, we have the fair value. Actually, technically, this whole thing from here to there is a fair value gap as well, too. So prices basically looks like it's completing the fair value gap. Let me actually get rid of, actually, no, I learned something from Biker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of you. There we go. Object tree, shout out to Biker. I'm going to draw this fair value gap over here, right? So to kind of illustrate what's going on. So price, it looks like price is basically eating through this fair value gap and the gap fill. And yeah, you may get some exhaustion after that. You may get a pullback, right? Hence the reason why we want to look for that 50% retrace so we know what may be coming next. Because technically, our next target on the daily is over here, right at the beginning of that gap fill. So our next target is 44. And then the next target after that would be right at the top of the bearish order block, 5360, right? If we break through the 44, especially with the gap fill and the bearish order block, we're probably going to have our pullback, just like what we did over here, right? We had the pullback before the next leg up. We're probably going to get that pullback, right? Probably set up another bullish order block, just like what we did over here, something to bounce off of, and then, keep it moving. So for tomorrow, again, everything is bullish, full time frame continuity. So honestly, on this one, my bias would be to the bullish side. Um, so
Hey, Tensho,
yeah.
if it price already pushed through to 44, so we're already in the gap.
Oh
There
shit. Excuse
it
me.
can be a gap up tomorrow because after hours we already hit 45.
Oh my
So,
God.
it might provide a pullback in the morning. So they'll be able to get a reentry.
Okay, perfect. I was actually going to say you probably would want, thanks for saying that, Phoebe, because I was going to say you probably would want a pullback, especially after what happened today, but and then even what's happening after hours. So you probably would want the pullback to happen first. Again, develop some sort of again, probably develop a bullish order block so that you can take that reversal back to the upside, right? You can look for a candle like what we see over here. Let me just maximize real quick. You can look for a candle like not this one, but this one. You can look for a candle like what we see over here. And this actually would have been a beautiful entry. Even though price action comes back to retest, it never touches your stop loss. And then it just continues pushing back up. Matter of fact, you have two entries there, and then you could have added there as well too, right? Um, just to throw that out there. But thank you for that. Let me see. Hold on one second. Here, I'm just checking to see if there's any questions. Very high to the low to find some resistances. Yes, yes, yes. This man is dedicated to groups. No way I'll be that much and making it cold right now. you know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it smells good as hell too. I'm not gonna lie, my stomach is grumbling right now. Can we take a look at RKT? Yeah, if we can fit it in dividend, I got you. We can definitely, I got you. And then facts. Okay, cool. So no questions. All right. But yeah, just I know I said it was going to be a teaching thing, but technically strat wise, you had. I know that's not a hammer per se, but I would have taken entry there, and then I probably would have taken entry off of this pullback as well too. So let me go ahead and get rid of that. But yeah, I know it was gapping up already. God damn. So yeah, game plan then is where is it right now, Fiva? What is it at right now?
It's at 44.71.
Oh, so it already took out. Oh shit. Okay. Um, so then it moves. What's that? $3 a day. So yeah, you might get away with that 47 then, but you probably want that pullback. So I'll probably say anywhere between 45 and 47 should be your target cons. Excuse me. If it pushes up higher than that, even better, right? Turns into a great ass lotto. Remember, I'm doing a lotto for over 2 days, right? So if let's say it pulls back, maybe back to where it closed, and then it bounces and you take that, you can grab 45, 46, or 47. Actually, let me look at the price before I start saying that shit. Dr. D, don't write down the contracts yet. Hold on. Search. So mañana 45 is 125. Still not bad. 46 is 104 and 47 is 100.
Tesla is up after hours too. It's a good chance that motherfucker be 242, 243 in the morning.
Yay, buddy. Yes. I'm sorry, because that bitch is I think it closed at like 50%. And I gave myself time too. I think I grabbed I went out a little bit because
I
I'm
got
feeling
255s.
I actually got the 260s. That's how confident I feel in Tesla.
Yeah,
So
we thinking the same shit then.
yeah, I actually got the 260s for week December 29th. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm giving time. It's been consolidating for a minute. I think it wants to explode. So yeah. All right. So Upstart.
And for you, hold on. Before you start, for y'all that's in here, don't ever be like, man, see they doing plays and not telling us. No, we do plays, but these are the plays that more or less risky, and we rather not. I'm gonna say get you all cooked for
Facts. Yeah.
just
Thank
being
you.
transparent with you all.
Thank you for saying that. I don't really like alerting risky plays. I only alerted ABGO because I know like people are still in it, but I'm not holding out on you. It's just that I'm okay with risking my money. I'm not okay with risking yours, if that makes sense. So yeah, please don't think I'm holding out on you. But yeah, Tesla, I've been watching her for a minute. I feel pretty confident. I mean, whatever, if it reverses on me, it reverses on me. It is what it is. Um, okay. So yeah, I would say honestly, I'll probably say depending on where it pulls back to, I'll probably say take something, at the money. So if it pulls back to 45 and you get an entry, take the 46. If it pulls back to, 44 or lower, I'll probably say take that 45. Because again, in my opinion, it would just be profit taking, if you ask me, especially with the way that, I mean, I was listening to Powell. He might as well have just said we're cutting, we're no recession. We're definitely cutting the rates. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that was as close to as a bullish thing as I could possibly. AVGO's up $13 after hours. Mother, oh my God. Yo, I swear to God, I knew it was a good play, but I didn't think it was going to be that good of a play. God damn. What?
So Andy cooking the stuff French toast in the morning.
Oh my God. For real? I'm sorry. I got to see with my own eyes. Motherfucker. What going on here, boy? Oh my God. Damn. If that carries over into the ooh. Okay. So with that being said, a lot of what I'm going through tonight may gap up in the morning. So I'm gonna try to, with the help of the admins, put out the ways that you can deal with that. Essentially, and I learned this from Kay, there's essentially only a couple things you could do with gap ups, right? If you have high conviction in it, you can jump in, let it ride, and whatever, right? If it reverses on you, it reverses on you. If it goes, it goes. The other option is you can just not touch it at all. There are traders who will spend time, alert it, but then because it gapped, they won't touch it no matter what the fuck happens for the rest of the day. The other option is you can wait and pray for a pullback. If the pullback happens and it reverses, then you can go ahead and jump in. That Friday heading into Monday for ABGO, as you can see, if you go back and there was no pullback, it was gone. So you risk, I mean, I'm not saying y'all did something bad per se, but that could have gone bad. It really could have. Because I know some of y'all entered mad late, right? So that really could have turned bad for you. All right. So I just want you to, I want to give you both sides of it. I'm not chastising you. I'm not scolding you. I'm telling you from experience that I've been burnt on that before, where the whole entire Discord and the Discord that I was in at the time, was like bullish on it and like, yo, this bitch is about to go up and everything. And then I entered late only to get burned. And what made it worse is I had no day trades from Robinhood at that time. So I really just had to sit there and watch my losses just go. All right. Was I just looking at the after hours? I on my phone I was looking at AVGO, but we were just talking about upstarts. I knew I entered puts too damn early. Yeah, I entered puts, but honestly, I gave myself time. I have until the end of December. And again, it's a zero hero. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. It is what it is. I'm literally taking the profits of the calls and not even 10% of the profits of the calls to buy these puts. So I am completely okay if this bitch goes to 0%. All right. And that's risking appropriately. If you've risked appropriately, then you can be comfortable with that. That's the reason why you hear some people that say, like, I don't have a stop loss, because they've risked appropriately that they can absorb that entire loss if it goes to zero. And if it don't, then even better. All right, anyway, so that's upstart, right? Again, the game plan, we're thinking bullish. We're thinking 45, 46, 47. If it pulls back to 44, get something at the money. Wherever it pulls back to and reverses back to the upside, get something at the money. If it does not reverse, if it just goes, then you have choices. Either jump in and be okay with the fact that it can reverse on you, or don't touch it at all, or wait patiently. Hopefully, maybe around the lunch hour, you might get that pullback, and then the run up. If any admin has a different perspective, we all ears. You can take the mic if you want. End of December. Cool. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving then. Where was my list? Let's look at Tesla real quick. Kyle, what is Tesla at right now? Do you know? Does anybody? Anybody just let me know, please? Anybody? Nobody
Is
knows
at
what
240 right? Is at 240.
240 right now? Okay. So I've already given my analysis on Tesla, so I'm not gonna rechart the whole thing. Go to Zamunda swings. The contract, obviously, I put in the contract as if I was starting this week, but the larger time frame analysis is pretty much still the same, right? And so far, Tesla's working out the way that I thought it was going to work out. I was thinking of the power of three because on the daily we were seeing the accumulation, right? I marked out this area for sweeping the lows. Also, it got below equilibrium just for a little bit. It rejected off of that, and then we got the outside candle for the day. So essentially, what we're seeing is the accumulation. We got the manipulation to the downside, and then what we're looking for is distribution back to the upside. That is entirely an ICT concept that has nothing to do with the strat. Now, from a strat perspective, why did I choose um, Tesla? Right? Because we're currently double inside on the month, double inside bullish. Yes, I know consolidation means nobody's in control, but after hitting these lows, and I'm pretty sure you can draw a fib and see that we're actually, I'll just go ahead and do it. So if we draw the fibs, right, we'll see that price ended up right around the OTE zone, right? So we bounced off of that. If you look at the larger picture, what do we do after hitting the bottom of a broadening formation? We reversed. And then what have we been doing since that pivot? We have been doing nothing but making higher lows, right? Run up, pull back, run up, pull back, wash, rinse, and repeat. That's all Tesla's been doing. The same pattern over and over again. So it stands to reason that it's going to do the same thing. Each time that it does its run up, it takes out the previous swing high, right? So run up, pull back, take out the swing high. That's your TTO, right? Run up, pull back. And so now again, we're looking for the same thing to happen eventually, that 299 will get taken out. That is not going to happen this week. Just let me be clear on that. That's not going to happen. Keep in mind the time frame that we're currently looking at. That's the monthly time frame. So that shit ain't going to happen this week. It's probably not going to happen this month either. Hell, it may not even happen. Well, it's probably not going to happen next month, right? But maybe sometime in Q1, yeah, Tesla's going to be above 300. We'll see how that works out. All right. But that's what piqued my interest. Then on the weekly, again, we are clear. On the weekly, from a strat perspective, what happened? We bounced off of a weekly broadening formation. All right. So after that bounce, we've been running up. We had a nice little pullback, right? Basically corrective activity. Let me clear, you know what? Let me just clear all this shit out. There you go. Corrective activity. And the reason why I cleared out, because I want you to see what price did right above this bullish order block. All right. Didn't come back to test it. Came back, got near it, and then boom, we out. All right. So undo. Now, I mean, I know it's a lot of lines and shit, but I actually do have, actually, I can probably break you, get rid of you, right? So I do have my weekly entry actually marked out right here, top of the week and bottom, right? So the way Tesla is going right now, if we end up being bullish for the rest of the week, right? Take note of 242. You said, what is it at? Hold on. I don't want to keep asking. Give me 1 second. Tesla is at, so Tesla's at 240, right? So if we break 242.74 tomorrow, know that the week that was bearish is now flipped to the bullish side, right? So you'll have the year, the month, the week, and then let me see, when does the quarter flip? Hold up. The quarter would then flip 244. So basically, once we go above 245 on Tesla, we have to, if that happens this week, right, before Friday's over, we have taken the week and flipped it green, and we've also flipped the quarter green as well too, right? So just know that if you see that we take out the weekly entry for Tesla and we take the week up, now we are completely and entirely in full-time bullish full-time frame continuity, right? Those are things that you want to pay attention to from a strat perspective, right? Because you want as many time frames in the favor of your trade. All right. You want to go with the flow of the river. Don't fight against it. Trend is your friend. I know that's cliche to say, but it's true. Hold up. Let me stop to see if there's any questions. 240.61. Oh, thank you, Native. All right. All right. And then on the daily, right, what do we have? During even though it's consolidation, right, we hit the top of well, not the top, but we hit a top part of the range of the consolidation. We had our pullback. We took out the lows over here that were unable to be taken out over here. We took out this low, not this one, but that one. So we took out the lows. Technically, that is a broadening formation, right? So there, my bad. I did the wrong thing. I meant to change that to daily. There we go. And just so you can see it, I'm gonna thicken it up a little bit there. All right. And then on the top side, we have boom and boom, right? So we're coming off the lows of a daily broadening formation. We have an area where price has bounced and exhausted before. And yeah, we ended up going 3. So we're looking for a 3-2, 3-2 to the upside, 3-2 reversal to the upside. And then your targets on Tesla are actually going to be 243.44.
Also note that is a good chance some of these triggers can trigger before that first 15-minute candle has closed. But note, keep your eyes on that 30-minute candle, and you have to close that trade a good. I'm gonna say a good indicator of the trend. That's why you want to watch a 30-minute candle. Yes, I jump in before that first 15-minute candle has closed, but a good majority of the time I'm scalping. Like the same thing that happened with the Nvidia trade today. If you jumped in later, it's a good chance that you got smoked because you got a bad entry or you didn't fully understand what you was doing. Now, if you swung it, then of course you won. But a lot of people get out of trades, from what I'm noticing, too prematurely. A lot of times, before you get the 100%, you might be up 60%, but you'll go down to 30%. And that's what more or less get people out of trades or shake people out. And me personally, I think a lot of people need to, I'm gonna say I'm a strat trader, but not a pure strat trader. And well, I can recognize candles and patterns and stuff like that. You all have to read the candles better and know what they are doing and know how to win. You have to mark the points of points of rejection as well too. It's not just simple as a 2-1-3 or 3-1-2 or the strat combinations and different things of this nature. Um, Another huge thing, I know I don't have it on my chart, but the volume is another huge, I'm gonna say a telltale sign of the market. You know, you simply have to, get on YouTube and study. You have to do your homework and due diligence on things. Don't just depend on call outs. Don't depend on anyone's exit as well either. This is a great service that we have, I think, in my opinion. Of course I'm biased on it, but I've been around the block quite a few years now. It's you gonna get out exactly what you put in with this. We're pretty motivating, and honestly, I'm quite obsessed with this shit because the motivation shit wear off easy. You get tired of getting knocked upside your head. I was a person that, I'm stubborn as a fucking mule. I ain't learned from, a lot of shit. I had to get up, knocked upside the head a few times and shit. People told me not to do particular things. I did them anyway. So, just like that little kid, you put your hand on the hot air stove. When your mom and daddy tell you not to, you burn your ass and then you get their ass whooped again. That's simple fact what some people gonna have to do. We try to prevent that. You know, um, but that's pretty much all I gotta say.
All right. So, if you're gonna do a lotto, uh, for for Tesla, honestly, I would probably say like if you're doing at the money, probably go 245, right? Um, like not, I wouldn't say go 240, right? Because we know the ATR is $9, so you kind of have to, stretch it a little bit. Go for the 245. That's close to your weekly entry as well too. Because yeah, if it's gonna shoot up, that's probably where you're gonna probably around this double top right here. It's probably where you're gonna find a little bit of resistance. Now, if you're feeling a little froggy, for if you want to extend it out into next week, I'd probably say look at the 250s for next week, which is 255. Yeah. Volume's 39,000, open interest 24,000. I don't think that's a bad way to go. Now, if I think what's going to happen next will happen after the accumulation, we have the manipulation to the downside, and then what we're looking for is the distribution to the upside. So, hence the reason why I got into a swing for Tesla. If we get that, yeah, I could legitimately see Tesla at least getting to the monthly call entry, if not breaking through that. And then, we got our next targets. As you can see, I got my next targets marked out. I got 260 because I think price will end up somewhere between the 257 and the 260. Um, nice PMG. That's a pivot machine gun to the upside too, actually. That's a lot of targets to take out. A lot of mercy. All right. So that's my 2 cents on Tesla. Let me see if we have any questions. No, the 260 cons are expiring December 29th. So no, I did not. If it's 260, I gave myself 2 weeks, bro. I'm giving myself 2 weeks. And the test, like, what would be the points of rejection that were mentioned by Salah? Where can we find videos? You can see the short white lines over the. Yes. Let me. Okay. So let me do this, biker. That's might make it easier for them if I remove everything. You see these lines here, right? Those would be points of rejection. And like what biker said, support and resistance. So it does not mean that they're going to immediately touch these lines and like reverse, right? Some resistances are tough, some are not so tough. Some can be just easily blown through. Um, some cannot, right? So, but you still want to be aware of uh, those resistance points. All right. All right. So that's Tesla. Is that an indicator? This is an indicator. Um, this is called the super order block, but I'm sure, Biker, do we have another indicator that might maybe the inducement, you think? Um,
My bad, bro. I checked out for a second. What you looking for?
he's asking about, you know how we talked about the support and resistance lines? He's saying he's asking about this indicator, but I don't necessarily want you to use the super order block indicator because that's a part of ICT concepts. So like, is
Um,
there another indicator that might just show like the highs?
yeah,
Um,
you can use if you go to the inducement stop hunt, you can turn on you can show stop hunts, I believe. Yep, show stop hunts and it will drag that line across.
there you
Uh,
go.
yep.
So inducement stop hunt. That's what you want to look at then. All right. Because yeah, I don't want you to do the super order blocks. And it's always best to not use an indicator unless you know how to like you know exactly what it's showing you, what it means as well too. All right. Don't just grab something because you see it. And I'm not talking to you specifically. This is
Man,
really for everybody.
the best thing to do for whoever that individual is to do is to learn that support and resistance initially.
Yeah. Learn support and resist. I mean, and that'll help as well too, right? So that way you're just not relying on the indicator. I do have the indicator up, yes, but I don't rely on it because I'm only using it to help me see the concepts that I've been recently learning from the ICT mentorship, right? You know, as a practice. Um, but eventually I'm gonna get to a point where just like with the strat, I don't have an indicator that draws broadening formations for me. I don't have an indicator that I don't know, whatever else the strat can do, mark out entries, etc. Um, that's not a knock on those indicators. Let me be clear, but I want to get to a point where my eyes can see it without it having to be drawn, because I know if I'm at that point, then it doesn't matter what chart I'm looking at, it doesn't matter what time frame I'm looking at, I will see it every single time without fail. Um, let me see. Does anybody need help with support and resistance? Actually, Becker, I think that would benefit everybody. I think you should do it either way. That's just my 2 cents. Not forcing, but I think you should do it either way. Especially like beginners too, before they start choosing their own strategy. I don't want to cram this strat. If you're a beginner listening to this, I don't want to cram the strat down your throat. Everybody has different ways of learning. I'm not saying the strat is like this foolproof 100% way of winning. It's to me the most comprehensive way, but you're not me, right? So I think definitely doing different classes would definitely help. Okay, so moving on to let me see what else we got. We got Tesla, Palantir. Oh, okay. So let's take a quick look because we did Upstart, we did Palantir, we did Tesla. Let's take a quick look at Walmart real quick. This one I just want to talk it through. Right. So from a from a monthly standpoint, right? I'm not going to chart it out. I'm just going to talk it through. From actually, I got to show you the Brownian formations. It's too, like, I can't pass it up. Sorry. Gotta show it. All right. So we know that we are rejecting off of the highs of the Broadner formation, right? But obviously that does not necessarily mean that we are reversing and coming back through the range. Just because you reject off the top of a Broadner formation, it does not automatically guarantee that you're immediately going to just come right back through the range, back to the downside. I want to be clear on that, right? It just means that we are rejecting off of the top of the Broadner formation, and that could be nothing but correctional activity in order to make the next leg up. I don't want you to assume that whenever price bounces off the top of a broadening formation, that means we're coming immediately back through the range. All right. So what I'm seeing on the month with Walmart is that we have pulled back to below equilibrium and then we bounced and came back above, right? We were at discount and it looks like the buyers have started to step in. Yes, this bullish order block got tested, but shout out to the great Vince, aka Inside Bar Bandit. He explained that it's best to always still pay attention to previously tested order blocks and see what price does around that area, right? So this is a previously tested order block, but look at what price is doing around the very same order block that was tested over here. Order block is here, got tested over here. Look at what price is doing around that same area as well too. So these little things will help you to completely build, I guess, a case, if you will, towards what it is that you're seeing or towards your bias, right? So far we're hammering on the month. It's not a bullish hammer, but so far we're hammering on the month. We're finding some exhaustion during this pullback. So that sets us up, especially if we continue bullish for the rest of the month, that sets us up for a 2-2 reversal back to the upside to reclaim potentially the yearly highs, go back in force on the yearly highs. Now, on the weekly, what's the week looking like? After our pullback, right, we have taken out the lows, right, and we have made a new low. So now we have established a new broadening formation on the week, right? Right? Because price essentially, I mean, this is just textbook, just making a series of higher highs and lower lows. That's all it's been doing. Higher highs, lower lows.
Hey, Tensho,
Yes, sir.
Walmart hit all-time highs last month, and it only sold off because of earnings, and they had positive earnings. So I think that was just a ploy just to take it to a discount to buy it back up to the top. So I'm very bullish on Walmart.
So the manipulation, in other words. All right. See, there you go. Right. So and that's another thing. When you notice that that happens with like especially like very popular. You know, those companies ain't going nowhere, had good guidance, but all of a sudden it still sells up. That to me is just pure manipulation. I'm not saying to still jump in calls. I'm just saying wait for the right time to get back into calls, right? So, and that actually, thank you, Biker. That actually helps me a lot, right? Because the only thing that kind of made me a little weary was the larger time frames, it being at the top of the range. But looking at what's happening now, we've made our lower low. We've bounced off of that lower low since making that lower low. And now on the weekly, we now on the week are ending up with a 2 down bull candle, which sets us up for a 2-2 reversal next week, right? This being one of the targets on the weekly, and then this also being your next target on the weekly, 155 and 158. Now, looking at Walmart on the daily, again, on a smaller time frame, you see that bounce even more clearly. As a matter of fact, you can even draw a daily broadening formation here as well too. I'm not going to do it in the interest of time, but you could, right? Now, we did miss a pretty nice ass entry there. Man, I wish I would have gotten alerted to this shit. But either way, Walmart, I think, is in a really good position to grab the 155 calls. You can run it till the end of the week. Or honestly, I would probably say this is set up for a pretty decent swing. I'm not saying months out, but you could definitely probably swing the 155s into next week. Or if you want to, give more time, give it until December 29th. Excuse me. Because Price, except for this double top, Price has a good run up to, like I said, 155. Then you got this bearish order block. And then before that, you actually have the gap from earnings. Yeah, you're right. It was green too. The fucking manipulation.
I got out of it right before earnings. So
I mean, yeah, I know you smart enough to do that. You don't really fuck around with earnings, but damn, all those people that was in it though. Yikes. But yeah, I mean, Walmart is I know we said we're looking for lottos, but this might actually do something. I think the 155 call, I don't even know what we talking about price wise, but let me see. The 155 call is 101 for next week. That's I mean, relative it's $100. If you can only afford one con, then just grab the one con. And then if you want to stretch that into December 29th, it's only $49 more, $50 more, not bad. And you've given yourself time because then if it runs up above 157 and eventually hits that 160, even better. The beginning of that gap is at 159.45. So who knows? It gets into the gap, um, and runs it up a little bit. Maybe exhaust has a little bit of a pullback, but if that happens by early next week, you could decide to just hold it. You know what I'm saying? You can let it run because you've given yourself time. Like for those of you in the John Deere, this is not about bragging or whatever, but if you got the contract I got, we legitimately have time now. We got the 370s for December 29th. We got time. And this shit's up $7 above our strike price. Like we got time now. You know what I'm saying? Like you could legitimately sit back and let it ride, especially if you got multiple cons. Let me see if there's any questions. I got it late. Have you done SPY? No, we're actually not doing SPY. SPY is sectors, and I usually do the sectors over the weekend. It has high potential to go outside this week. The buyers are there. The only reason it stopped rising today is because of you think my let's go John Deere. Drake, you talking about Walmart or you talking about John Deere? I don't know which one, but either way, let me. Oh, Walmart. Okay. All right. Because the bell rung. Yeah, I could definitely see it hitting that 155 though. I could definitely see that. So this one, me personally, I'm interested in. So I'll probably put a little bit more analysis out there. Um, maybe tonight. I'll probably put in Zamunda swings, but this is one that I'm targeting. I definitely like that 155. I do. 50% was 153.05. Perfect. 1-3 on the daily. It's 10-13. Yeah, we can fit that in. That's fine. We can fit that in. All right. So coming at that's Walmart, and then the other one I wanted to show was Oracle. All right. So from the monthly standpoint, right, Oracle ran up, and then honestly, what you're seeing is probably a consolidation. But looking over here, right, the low, we already made a lower low and then rejected off of that, paying attention to right there, right? So there's our broadening formation. And I think we have a slight one. Nope, that slants down. Never mind. So we still got to make higher highs over there. But actually, no. What am I saying? I could probably just do that. Boom, boom. There you go. That's one of them, right? So we got the run up, got the pullback. And so far, we're bouncing off of the bottom of this broadening formation. Now, on the weekly, same thing, right? We get the run up and then we get the pullback, and we are essentially coming back through this bullish order block. It got tested, and then looks like the bulls, after making that low, the bulls are coming back through this bullish order block. So we'll see how that goes. And honestly, this is a PMG setup to the downside, so price eventually had to take out those targets anyway. But then looking at the daily, this is why it was a little appealing to me because we have this is after earnings, right? Um, oh, the revenue was bad. That's what it is. We'll see how that goes though. But I think there's an opportunity here. I do. I don't have as high as conviction in it. Let me see what my notes say. Hold on. Back to the outside. Yeah. I don't have as high as conviction in it as I do Walmart, but ended the day as a two down bull candle. If we can get that 2-2 reversal, we know that our first target is going to be there at 104.95. And then, yeah, we got a little room to run up. 50% is at 109.36. So, me personally, I'll probably target the 105. If we trigger to the upside, it moves almost $3 a day. If we trigger above 103.10, I'm looking at that 105. Again, as a lotto, so I'm not going to tell you to go heavy on it. But there's definitely a lot of space and opportunity. And the 105 is asking 29. So I guess you could probably go a little bit closer and grab the 104. Get something kind of at the money. That one's only asking $54. And yeah, you can probably grab multiple contracts for that. And if it runs up, midway through the gap fill is about what, 109. So, you grab the 104s or the 105s, and then it runs up to about 109, 110. That should end up being a really nice ass lotto for you. All right. Let me see. If, for instance, if I look at the 4 hours after close, does that represent the next four when it opens the next day? You're talking about extended hours? I usually don't.
Hey, good evening. What up? Yes, kind of like not extended hours, but like say like I'm looking at I was following you on Walmart. I'm looking at the chart, and the
Mhm.
chart looked good. I'm looking at like 4 hour one day. So even though it closed today, does that? I know it's the past to kind of predict the future, but does that kind of tell you what it's going to do the next 4 hours when it open in the morning from like 8:30 to 12:30, so to speak?
Potentially, but honestly, I don't really look at, how can I put it? It depends. Oh, okay. Now I think I understand what you're saying. If the 4 hours hasn't been completed, right? Does it carry over into the? No, no, because yeah, no. Oh, here we go. Drake. Yeah, Drake explained it. Yeah. So look, no, it wouldn't. And that's part of the. I don't really look at the 4 hour, to be honest with you. I like my candles to complete. That's why I don't look at the hour. I look at the 65 minute, right? Because obviously the market opens at 9:30, right? So you're not looking at that hour candle at the end is not, doesn't is not a complete, full hour candle. um, it gets cut. So with the 65, however, it's placed the right exactly the way that it should be. And so when the 65 closes, then all those candles close. If you look at the 195, it's complete. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to think of what time frame is a complete 4 hour candle. So if you want to look at the 195, like just if you don't know how to do that in Training View, just click down here and then change minutes to 195 and then hit add, right? And then what you could do is add it like a favorite. You can star it and then it'll be a favorite so it shows up on your bar at the top. Thanks, Biker. Thanks, Straight. And sorry about misunderstanding the question. Um, okay, so Square, somebody wanted me to look at Square, aka Block. it's obviously bullish, right? Um, I know the market is bullish as well too, but I can't I gotta say be careful, right? It's obviously bullish on the weekly. It's been running for a very long time. I mean, the last bearish candle was shit October. God damn. How the hell? Like I haven't even seen this one alerted too much. How the hell did we miss that? It's and it's primed to go and take the week up. I'm not saying it's going to reverse. I'm just saying be careful. Now with the daily, what you could see is the Nirvana, the 1-3, right? Um, what you could potentially see is a 1-3-2 up, but then that might set it up for a rev strat or a pullback back to the downside. So um, just be aware of what price does once it closes, once it gets above this 70.67. Keep in mind, I don't know where price is right now, but keep in mind there's a bearish order block just right above price. So it would make more sense that price would, hit this and give a pullback. Um, you would want it to probably do that, to be honest with you, because usually the longer stock runs, the harder it falls. So yes, it is bearish. Yes, I like it. Um, just be wary of once price closes above, or excuse me, once price crosses, not closes, crosses above that 70.67. But yeah, I like it. You should also be aware of the gap fill here as well. Um, and you should be aware that on the daily, not saying it will happen again, but price is rejected twice out of this gap fill. Entered, and rejected. So just be aware of that with Clear. It's a part of the indicator that I have, VSK. I'm talking to you about the question with the bullish and bearish order blocks. It's a part of the indicator that I have, the super order blocks indicator that I have. All right. Now, as far as tomorrow, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have probably swung a lot of calls. Um, letting the swings do some work is also a position too, yo. You don't immediately have to jump into anything. You can let the market, kind of open up, see how, essentially take the temperature, see how the market's reacting to everything. Again, right now it looks like we're going to have um, a lot of gap ups. So yeah, you can again 3 ways you can play that, right? You can either jump in immediately and risk losing if it pulls back. Um, you can wait, see if you get a pullback and enter into a trade into the direction that you want to get into. Or you could just choose not to touch it at all. All right. So we've had a pretty good week. All right. Don't think that you have to overtrade and trade every single day. A lot of you, if you took, the majority of the call out trades from the admins, um, you really don't need to trade or enter anything. Just saying, you should be good. All right. Or at least you should be in a position where you can afford the luxury to let some setups go unless it's truly an A plus setup. All right. All right, cool. So that's it, right? Like obviously I'm still bullish on chips. Um I'm probably gonna put something out about Walmart, still bullish on DE. Palantir, probably will. I might jump into that tomorrow. I think that one's going to be good too. So Palantir and Walmart for me is the ones I'm going to be looking at. Besides just managing, really John Deere. I'm not really managing AVGO. This is round 4 at this point. So again, what I have for AVGO, if it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Zero or hero. That one is truly a lotto. I don't really give a shit if it goes to zero, right? Because I mean, Yeah, I don't. Yeah, all right. And that's the luxury of when you make some decent funds off of your plays, you can maybe skim like 5% of those profits. And I mean, hey, if you lose it, you lose it. It is what it is. Can I make a deal with you? Right? A brother is hungry. I do apologize. Right? I haven't eaten since lunch today. Let me go eat. And what I can do is maybe put in the group my thoughts on knee and Chewy and HON. Does that sound like a deal? All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, I will drop this. I'll drop this once it's done converting. All right. RKT2. Yes, I did forget about that dividend dog, but yeah. All right. Um, sorry, I just know I get hunger headaches and I can feel the headache coming on. So let me go eat and then yeah. Now again, you got the plays, you know what we're looking at, you know what a lot of us admins are looking at. I encourage you to still chart it out. I still encourage you to do the charting yourself so you understand why it is that we're trying to enter into what we're entering into. Um, yes, Foodmatic, I know, but again, I'm hungry. Leave me alone, man. All right. But yeah, you know what we're looking at. But again, if a lot of you guys are already in calls, don't overtrade. Don't overstretch yourself. Don't, if you're already up on some other calls, it's all right. Just let them things run, take your profits, and then yeah, if something else presents itself, then go ahead and do your thing. All right. We had a great day today. Powell definitely giveth today. So let's not the biggest mistake a lot of traders make, including um, experienced traders, in my opinion, besides ego, of course, right, is that making the money is not the problem. It's giving the money back, right? A lot of people don't have that discipline, right? A lot of people, there's traders out there that can and have made 5,000, 10,000 on a trade. The problem is that they get, kind of this untouchable air or feeling, and they start fucking up with their discipline and risking more than what they should. And then they eventually, over time or immediately, give it back. So a lot of y'all have had a really great week. I'm not saying don't trade. I am saying it is entirely okay if you don't. All right. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll see y'all in the group.